Chris, I'm in contract for one of my properties. Got cold feet. I think I want to back out. That one of your problems? Or, Chris, I'm in contract to buy a property. Found another one I want to buy. Can I back out of my contract? That's your problem? Let's talk about it. Going on good, guys? Chris Newman here, Chris Newman Real Estate, chrisnewmanrealestate.com. Like, comment, subscribe. Take that finger, smash that like button, smash that subscribe button. Let's talk about it. Can you back out of your contract? That is a question that so many sellers and buyers have, whether they're currently in the situation or they're potentially thinking about it. So before we get there, let's do a little story time with Chris, all right? Well, not story time. Before we go there, let's have a conversation. Let's have a candid conversation. Let's talk on the sell side. A lot of sellers, what the problem is, or what a lot of anxiety that lies with the seller is, sellers feel like they may be leaving money on the table. That's a big concerning factor for a lot of sellers, owners selling their property. They feel like they didn't sell for enough. Most sellers feel like they gave too much. Even if you get asking, they feel like, oh, we could have probably got 100,000 more if we would have priced it higher. Oh, we could have did this. Oh, we could have did that. Oh, we gave the buyer too much leeway. Oh, we did that. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. The reality of the situation is agents are agents. Realtors are realtors. We're not fortune tellers. What we do is what a lot of people do, what a lot of economists do, what a lot of researchers do. We're researchers, right? That's one of the many hats that we wear. We're researchers. So we take what's happening now along with what's happening in the past and make an educated guess, right, on where we are most likely to land, whether we're on the sell side, whether we're on the buy side. So now we're talking on the sell side. So this is where we should price it based off of these metrics and based off of where we see the market going. We should price it here. We may land somewhere around here. Whether it's a little lower, whether it's dead on the mark, or whether it's a little higher than we listed for, we should be somewhere in the circumference of this. Most sellers feel, okay, we did that, we're in contract, or I sold, but I could have got another 1,000, but I could have got another 20. Maybe I could have got another 30. Maybe I could have got another million if we would have just waited for the right buyer. Newsflash, 9 times out of 10, that is the right buyer. It will happen, right? It is a possibility. It is a possibility that a higher offer can come after this offer has already been accepted. Yes, it is a possibility. If you have a good offer, if you have a great offer, you should take it. Why? Because there's a possibility. That means it may or may not happen. It may or may not happen. It's just possible. Right now, you have a great offer in front of you. You should take it. Now, I can't force you to take the offer. What I can do is advise you and be frank with you. Yes, we can find another buyer. I can't say we will find another buyer. We can find another buyer. It's possible that there's another buyer and they may come around with a higher offer. I just need you to be prepared and understanding of the fact that it may not happen. This may be the best offer that we can get. On the buy side, they're gonna always feel like they paid too much. Most buyers are gonna feel like, oh man, we should have offered less. Even if you guys got 50K off, you're gonna feel like, they gave in too easily. Maybe we could have got 55K. Maybe we could have got 70K off. Maybe we could have got another 100K off. Maybe we could you're always gonna feel like you paid too much. So sellers are gonna always feel like you paid too little for the most part, and buyers are mostly gonna feel like they paid too much. Can't do anything about it. So this is for the agents that's watching it. For the buyers and sellers that's watching it, hey, you probably feel like I just read your mind, right? So this now goes to the question. So now on the sell side, you have an accepted offer, you're going into contract. On the buy side, you have an accepted offer, you're going into contract. Sellers, you're in contract. You feel as if you don't want to sell anymore. Can you back out of the contract? What are the risks of you backing out of the contract? Here are the risks. Here are some of the risks. The answer is, sure, you can back out, especially in America. It's a free country. You can do whatever you want. With that being said, yes, you can definitely back out of your contract. Should you back out of your contract is the question. The answer is, it depends. The answer is, it depends. Certain circumstances do happen to where situations change. to where now you have to back out of the contract. This happens. Life happens. Now you go to your attorney and you ask him for the terms, so on and so forth. Let's fast forward. Here are the risks associated with backing out of the contract on the sell side. You can get sued for the property, which is now you're still going to have to give up the property. You're also going to have to pay lawyer fees. Who knows if you have to also pay their lawyer fees for this as well. That's possibly the biggest threat. You have to give up the property anyway. And now you're just in a big legal battle. You have to spend a whole bunch of money, waste a whole bunch of time, and it may not be worth it. On the buy side, a big risk associated with backing out of the contract is what? You lose your deposit and you can get sued, okay? You lose your deposit. So you have your down payment that you're gonna put on the property. So let's say 30% down, 50% down, 20% down, whatever. There's a deposit amount that you have to put down. So now you put the deposit down or whatever you wanna put down, and you're at risk at losing that deposit. So that could be 20,000, that could be 50,000, it could be 200,000, 2 million. It just depends. You could be at risk for losing that money. Now, if you're risk adverse and you like living on the wild side, go for it. Do your thing. Or you can possibly have if you're a seller, you can possibly have an understanding buyer. If you're a buyer, you can possibly have an understanding seller. And say, you know what? We'll find another buyer, or we'll find another house, or so on and so forth. You just go about your business. It's very possible. And in fact, that happened with me one time. I had a buyer and the seller did a whole bunch of mucho. We had an accepted offer. We were actually in contract. Seller did a whole bunch of mucho. And you know what happens? What happened was the seller said, oh, I don't have no place to go. Oh, I don't want to replace the boiler because the bank said you have to replace the boiler because the boiler is freaking old as hell and it's a fire hazard. Oh, I don't want to replace the boiler. Oh my God, I didn't know I had to pay you this money to replace, even though it's in the contract. Oh, and she signed for it. Oh my God, I don't have nowhere to go. Yada, yada, yada. My buyer just said, you know what, I don't want to deal with all of this. We said, you know, you can sue, but she's like, I'll just find another house. Now, are all buyers going to be like that? Absolutely not. In fact, most buyers may not be like that. Most buyers may say, I invested this money. I did an inspection. I did this. I did that. I put money down. I wasted my time. I already told my landlord that I'm moving out, or I'm already in contract for another property, and blah, blah, blah. You have to give me your property because we signed a contract. Now, buyer, like you get a buyer like me, I may take it offensive and say, you know what? If the shoe was on the other foot and I wanted to back out, would they let me back out? Most likely not. I want the property, or you gotta buy this property. What are you talking about? No, nope, no me. Wouldn't happen. Now, or I gotta keep it real, it also depends on the mood that I'm in. Because if I feel like this is gonna take too much time, it's gonna take too much stress, I may just say, F it, let's go find another property, or F it, let's go find another house, blah, blah, blah. It just wasn't meant for us to happen. It just wasn't meant for us to get, you know? So, can you back out of a contract? Yes. There are penalties, there are risks. Okay, there are penalties and there are risks involved. Now, also, before we go, you may have a clause in your contract where you can back out if certain things aren't met penalty free. You just have to talk to your attorney and make sure that is negotiated and placed into the contract. Okay, hope I answered your question. Like, comment, subscribe, tell a friend and tell a friend. Chris Newton, subscribe. Talk to you guys soon.